So we're going to start to work with color and materials and the spatial edge. So the what I hope to go over is some of the stuff that I showed on the recordings. That's sort of, you know, beginning to use marker to understand how the marker works. It really is pretty simple once you get the hang of it. So if you can and the spatial edge drawings, so that so I'm going to begin by, you know, kind of reviewing, seeing what you guys were able to do with that exercise with the magazine thing. How many people comfortable doing that? Do you have something? One or two of you sent me things, which is great, and I responded to. I don't remember. I think it was Bridget that sent something along, and I just sort of worked through it. But maybe we can take turns showing your drawings. So I'll just ask you as, let me see. I'll just go down the list. Don't be embarrassed if you don't have something to show me, but I do want for you guys to be comfortable with the idea that you can work. You've been able to accomplish a remarkable amount of work in the absence of an instructor, which is to your credit, or maybe to mine, that, you know, some of the lessons are clear, I hope. But Caitlin, do you want to show something? All right. So I think everybody can see, yeah.
So first, I'll show, this is the picture that I was using.
Okay, the magazine, yeah.
Yep, and then this was the drawing that I had done.
Okay, that's great. Yeah, yeah.
And then I just started working on the color. So I can I show that in a little bit?
Sure, sure. Can you put that up again, that drawing? So when you guys get to this point, and there's some remarkable, I've seen some remarkable drawings, scan them or take a picture of them and put them on your website as stuff in progress. This way others can see the drawings that you're doing it. But from all the evidence that I see, you're getting the idea. And I want you to be comfortable that anything you look at, you'll be able to somehow represent it and then swap it out with something different. Laura, do you have something you want to show?
Sure.
Good.
I finished my color drawing.
Oh, boy.
So I was using this picture.
Perfect. That's a straight single perspective. Yeah.
And then I colored it.
That's great. One of the things that will, hopefully you scan the drawing so that you can, before you colored it, right? And then print it out in color. Does everybody understand that? The importance of doing that, because you don't want to paint yourself into a dead end, right? So once you have the black and white drawing, don't worry if you haven't done this. It should be easy enough to replicate. Once you have the black and white drawing, you want to scan it so that you can generate multiple copies of it as you get better with colorization techniques and that sort of thing. did you scan the drawing, Laura? Before?
Yeah, I had
good.
like I already did like I started one and then I just restarted it too. So I have
Okay.
it
Okay.
drawn.
Okay, that's good. Can you show me a copy of it without the color? Don't worry if you can't. It's just, you know, it's easy for me to see that edge. The
I
important
have
thing is,
like I
yeah,
have the original. I don't have it like printed.
okay. Okay. The important thing is that after you scan this and before you start to introduce any amount of shadow or anything like that, you want to create a very strong edge around that perimeter that outlines the shape of the things that are framing your drawing, right?
Okay.
So if you could send me, each one of you, after we see it, send me an image, even if you photograph it, just send me a picture. If you photograph it, try to take it straight on so that I can mark it up. But the drawing looks very good. I think I'd like to see a little more carefully around the, you know, what actually creates that edge, because it's really important for you in the foreground to have a sense of something that's occluding the view of what's beyond. That helps the viewer place the viewer in the drawing. So that's what the exercise is about. Ashley, do you have something you want to show?
No, I was trying to find it. I can't find it.
Okay. You think it's gone, or are you just pretending that you can't find it? Don't worry about it. But make sure.
I'll send a picture, and I'm
Okay.
gonna post it on my thing.
Okay, Molly.
Yes. So this is the. Hold on, let me shut my curtains. I don't know if that's anything. So this is the picture that I used.
Is that a photograph or a painting?
It's from a magazine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe I saw that. Maybe I saw that before.
I think I did show you it. I don't
Okay.
know.
Yeah.
This is my like line drawing.
Yeah. I did. I remember that. So what happened? What's the difficulty we're having here is this: the lines in the center are too heavy. The lines in the center want to be light, and it's just the outside edge that needs to be the heavy edge, and we're losing on the right of the drawing, or you know, as I look at it on the right, I'm not getting a strong sense of enclosure. Even if you have to create something continuous, you want that thing to be totally enclosed, even at the risk of leaving out some parts. So scan that and send it to me,
Okay.
and I'll show you how I think we can improve on it.
Okay.
Okay. Anna.
So I already did it. So I just share the screen because I already scanned it.
Okay.
So the left
Yeah.
is image,
The
and
image. Yeah.
the right is the line one, and the down one is the color one.
Okay, this is it's slightly different than what we're doing, but it's a very attractive rendering, and because it's a perspective, it brings us in the drawing. I'm reluctant to say there's a right or wrong way to do it. I'm showing you one way of doing it. What Anna has done with this, even though it somewhat ignores the creating something in the foreground, which is what I meant by the spatial edge. Because it's a single point perspective, we still managed to bring somebody into the drawing. If you have the black and white drawing, I'd like you to try to outline maybe one side of it, Anna, maybe cut out around the table and the lamp on the right, or it's something, and see if you're comfortable doing that. Then along the ceiling, and just create a very strong black line. But as a color rendering, I think this is very effective, very attractive drawing. Yeah,
Okay.
that's well done.
Okay.
So don't forget to send along the black and white and the color version.
Mhm.
Bridget, you want to, how did that help, that the drawing that I sent?
She's in the bathroom right now.
Okay, no
not gonna-
problem. Who was that? Skylar? Daisy? Oh, well, let's go to Skylar. Skylar, do you have something you want to show?
So yeah.
That's the.
Can you
the
hear me
new-
now?
Yeah, that's the new breakfast club. You're all in the same room over there. Yeah.
Perfect. She's gonna come over here in a sec. So
Okay.
here's the picture. It has some markings on it, so it's kind of hard to see. And then I unfortunately did not scan my drawing when I traced it out, so I'm just gonna do that again and scan
Okay.
it. But here's mine all colored.
Okay, the same thing here. We're kind of, because it's a single point perspective, it brings the user into the drawing, but it misses the point of the spatial edge and putting something in the foreground. Remember what I did with that citizen, that picture of that guy that I just cut out and put him in the foreground? I in a way, this is also, at this rate, you're going to use up your pens in no time, right? You're trying to create an area of focus, and you have a lot of stuff. You have this big green patch of stuff that one more drawing like this, and you're going to run out of green ink, right? So I think if you want to you could send me that picture, and I will trace over and show you what I suggest you could do with it, because there's a lot of stuff, and it looks like you started to create an edge.
Yeah,
Something's cut out of the couch, but then you colored around it, and the point was that edge is supposed to be just white space. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Okay. Yeah. I'll see the picture of it.
Okay, let me see if I'm gonna get one of my drawings and show and try to explain using that as an example. Wait. Um, yeah, I think the only way for me to do this my desk is a mess. That's too bad. We're gonna have to. Okay. The only way for me to do this is to change the camera. Can you, I guess you see my desk, right? Is that, can you can make that sufficiently large? Like, there's no point in me sharing that. Advanced sharing option. Okay, I'll try to make a point with that. You're making, the work you've shown me is making a lot more work for you than needs be done. Do you see how this drawing, I take a couple people, put them in the foreground just to get a view of what's back there. Even this, I think, is a lot more than we need to include. But the idea that this entourage in the foreground forms the edge. And what you did was you took all this space and you filled it with a green marker, using up a green marker. Now, you maybe go to the store and tell them it's out of ink and have them replace it. So the drawing that I made it from, there's the drawing. And this, your source drawing, that outside edge, this edge is got ought to be the strongest line you see. Maybe you don't need a Sharpie as deep as that, right? And then I got this person whose ear and body is in the foreground. You see how that's just framing the stuff that's back there. And whatever part of the ceiling. And then the content are lighter lines, because the color is gonna explain that. And it isn't even necessary at this point to do the color. If you wanted to try it, that's fine. So I had a couple more that I did specifically that I did from the video. Let me get that. You know what? Let's look at some more of your work, because I think it'll be clear when what I'll do is I'll as you guys post stuff on your, or send me a drawing, I'll print a copy up and mark it up and show you what I think where I think we ought to go with that. Now, somebody was in the bathroom that I missed. Was that Bridget? Bridget, was it you that whose drawing I sent along back with comments?
Yeah.
Okay, how we doing with that? Can I see that drawing?
This is what I have so far.
Oh, good. Okay, so that was helpful, right?
Yeah.
I think you want to emphasize the outline. That edge really has to be a heavy black line.
Okay.
So when you decide what that is, which I think you have already, outline that. And I think on the left, you have, the outline of the chair is going to be really helpful to have. And so you really want to get an idea of those elements in the foreground.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Daisy. I always want to sing that song. I'm going to resist doing it. Daisy. No.
I have, this is a picture that I went off of, and then I did it on tracing paper. I accidentally colored on tracing paper and then switched it to this.
Okay. Again, the heavy line is the perimeter, not inside the drawing.
Okay.
Right? You see how all those heavy lines that are outlining those shapes, that's a no-no. We want to bring all what's inside the drawing, want to bring that out with color or thin lines.
Okay.
So you kind of want to reverse that. And really understand at the perimeter what's in the foreground. Can I see the image that you worked from?
Yeah.
You got a ton of stuff in there. Can you send me that image? Email me that or scan it or something.
Yeah,
there's a ton of stuff to work in there that you're ignoring, and that I think and it'll make it a lot easier too.
Okay.
So you're gonna send that along. Okay.
Perfect. Yep. Thank you.
Anna, we looked at. Ashley, did we look at yours?
I found it and I scanned it so I can share my screen.
You found it and you scanned it. Oh boy, you weren't kidding.
I can show you the original image. I do not have that saved, but I have it printed out.
Okay, that right away, I'm going to say there's got to be a differentiation. That outside edge has to be heavy. There's got to be a strong sense of line weight. And when we talk about the plan and section, remember, think of this as like a section drawing, but you're trying to bring it to life. You know how we did the kitchen? That big thick outline for the kitchen that all you guys did such a masterful job with. You're trying to bring that into 3D now, right? We're creating a sectional view, but this is a perspective. Show me the image that you worked from.
But that would be like an easy fix. Just get thicker.
It is, but I suspect there's more going on in the image. Do you have the picture or
Yeah, I'm
not?
showing it. I don't know if it's.
Take your time. Don't let me rush
I'm
it.
holding it up. It's.
Oh, you're holding it.
I don't know
up.
if you can see me.
What do I have to do? I have to pin you or something.
Spotlight.
Spotlight. All right. Wait. Spotlight. remove pin. More. Replace pin. Okay, well, I have your name is up there in big letters. What next? What do we do now?
I have no idea.
Are you sharing a screen?
No, I'm just holding it up.
Professor, if you like go up to her box and hit the 3 little dots, you can pin her on your screen.
It's Daisy that I'm looking at. Is that right?
No,
Oh, I'm sorry. That's the problem. Who was I?
Ashley.
Ashley, I'm so sorry.
It's
I
all
know
good.
that. Oh my God. Okay. Okay, so that's fine. This is very austere. Okay, but there's some stuff in there that you will want in the drawing. Okay, there's not much contrast going on in the borders. So show me the drawing again now.
I have one right here, so.
Yeah.
But can I like play around with the colors? Like not really exactly what I see, but like if I wanted to do the walls like a color rather than white.
Yes, of course. Yes. Certainly, you can replace those things. You see, in the video, I don't even bother to try to reproduce what's on the floor. That's the idea, right? You want to create your own thing. I also very much appreciate your evaluations. Your commentary was very kind. I was happy to hear that people felt that among the comments, I'm paraphrasing, were that you you don't feel like you have to outdo everybody else or somehow it's not a competition. We're all trying to get to the same place, and there's tons of different ways of getting there. And you guys may make I'm not even gonna call it a mistake. You have a happy accident where you discover on a technique that, oh wow, that works too. You know what I mean? That it's fine to discover that. So but with that particular image that you showed me, Ashley, I would outline that, create a heavy outline, and then maybe start playing with the books. The books on the shelf.
Yeah.
Even if you don't need to copy to trace the ones that are there, but make up your own, because you can work in that scale, in that shelf, in the space that is in there. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. Emily?
Hi. So I have so we talked about the 2 photos that I sent you. And so I started doing this one. This is kind of hard to see, but the archway with the long hallway.
Yes, I remember that. Yeah.
Then I decided to switch it, but I left it at home.
Okay, that's okay.
And yeah, so I left like everything at home.
That's all right. Listen, I want everybody to be comfortable with this. This should not be a very belabored composition. I want you to get comfortable with the technique of being able to quickly trace. I'm going to do an example for you guys because I can't find the one that I did. This bothers me about that camera. That's going to bug me that I can't. I like the quality of that camera, so I'm gonna have to figure out. All right, I have to get my phone. Let me go back. To this. Oh, good. I can spotlight that for everybody. Okay. I haven't rehearsed any of this. Find the magazine. Oh, let me put this on so I can hear you if you're saying it. I'm going to find the magazine. Well, if this were in a bathroom, it could be an interesting composition because I could trace around her. You know what? She's kind of curvy, but I can't see it through the you see what I've done there, right? I'm ultra simplifying that. This is taking minutes. You could also, somebody asked, you know, could I use a different colors or different stuff that's in there? You can even take a different image, right? That could be something that you frame. And let's say, oh, that was terrible. Remember that? Oh my God. Devastating. Those are trash cans. It's got to be the right scale, right? All right. Why not? let's make believe she's in that room. How do I do that? You see how these lines are just giving me an idea of what's in there. You know about the ellipses. I'm imagining that, right? If I want more of it, I pick up a little more, but I just need enough, you know, to give me a sense of what's there. So that's what I mean by a spatial edge. If you want to pursue that, I mean, you showed me a couple things that were successful nevertheless. Okay. This took 5 minutes. Does everybody have 5 minutes?
Can I show you mine?
Yes, please. Who said that?
Natasha.
Natasha. Hang on. I'm getting really good at, very good. Dynamite. And we saw this before. I thought this was going to give us trouble, but that's come along. Yeah.
Yeah,
Do you see?
I didn't have many colors, so I have to go out and get more.
Yeah, that's okay. You get the idea. We're learning how to work with these things. Somebody want to volunteer a drawing? I will otherwise get started. I'm going to, you know, start with showing you a couple of exercises where we're going to look at material, looking at material swatches. Now we're a little bit of a disadvantage because we usually get to raid. I'm not here anymore, right? Oh. We usually get to raid the material library.
Sandro,
Yeah.
I sent you my picture. Could you like draw on top of it, please?
Sure.
Thank you.
Let me see. Did you scan those pictures or did you photograph them?
No, I photographed them. Do you want me to scan them really fast?
No, that's a remarkable job. They're really orthogonal. I'm printing out the magazine thing now.
Perfect, thank you.
Okay, let me change to that video. How exciting that I get to do this, even if it's just my hands. All right. So the opportunity I think you missed here, right? We've got a little bit, you want to look at something that has a contour that clearly identifies something. I'm going to say, the edge of that table. And the thing sitting on it is a much stronger element to bring into the foreground, right? See all the heavy line work? I'm going to show you where you want that line work to be. I didn't even think of this, but all right, I buy that. the edge of the window. Right? And now, what is it that we can bring into the foreground that has some shape? Do you see how you sort of went, you just sort of boxed around that? If instead you respond,
Maybe like the basket.
the basket, yeah, the basket, I didn't even think of that. The basket is very strong. Right? And then that becomes your outline. Who cares what this is? You can exaggerate, right? Yeah, the basket was a good idea. Because that's something I can clearly see in the foreground. Then the rest of this stuff, if you're going to choose to draw it, you see how the heavy lines, we don't need all that. Use a thin pen. That stuff is back there. It's hard when you can barely see what's there, but you see how that the leg on that table is a strong element that reads against. Well, this was a color image that you sent, wasn't it? I printed it in black and white. Okay, so there's stuff going on back there that I left out. But then, you know, this becomes something of interest. That's the drawing that you want to colorize. So you're not competing with the heavy lines. I'll scan this and email it back to you, and you can continue with it. Let me take a minute. Anybody else that wants me to do something like that, or that would find that useful, feel free to, even if you don't do it now, you could send it to me after class, before the next class, later on.
Sandro.
Yeah.
I sent you an email as well with my
Okay.
magazine. So if you could help, that would be
sure.
Great. Thank you.
All right.
And Sandra?
Skylar, I don't see any image attached to your email. You sure that you attached something?
It should be on the top. I just sent you like the reply to the first email.
Oh, okay. I'm opening, it says, can you please mark the outline on this picture, but I don't see a picture.
Is it not? Is there like a reply above that? I can just send the image again, honestly.
Yeah, send it again. I don't know I don't know what happened. And I have one from Greta as well.
Yeah, I have my, sorry about that. I have my image that I drew out here. And like what you said about Skylar's, like not being cut out, sort of did the same thing. So I'm gonna redo it.
Okay.
But this is what I had drawn. But I understand like right here, this should be white and.
Oh my God, is that black marker?
Yeah, because I messed up at the beginning. Like I didn't section it out first, and then I like thought I would cover it with black, but I'm redoing it because I know.
I think you understand what to do, but so do you want me to mark this up, or what do you want? What do
You
you
don't
want
have
to do?
to mark it up, but I was just gonna ask you, like when I hold it up, like where should I section it off? Like, does this look good right here? And then like somewhere over here, maybe?
It is, there's plenty of stuff to trace around. Take a piece of trace over it, and I would definitely the two chairs on the left in the foreground, maybe that's the one closest to the viewer might form this part of the spatial edge. So you would want to excise that and
Would I
use.
include the legs here, or would I like section
right.
it up here along the side of the chair?
This is going to be easier for me to print
Yeah.
this.
If
Okay.
it's easier for you to just look at it, I just didn't want you to have to go through all the process of doing it, but.
what I meant about bringing this in the foreground is that's what you want to see up front. So I would do something like this. Right? A little difficult when there isn't much going on back there. I suppose you could, well, it isn't going to be meaningful. There's not a lot of contrast in the image. I think I might do this. That might be one way to go. Another, you might leave out some of that, but see what I mean? You want to be able to clearly identify something in the foreground. Right? This is a little difficult because this has so much character to it. Can I share more than one screen? Do you know if that's possible? Advanced sharing. Never mind. Yeah. So because this element has so much character to it, you may wish to draw it simply because it would be hard for anybody to recognize that shape. Right? So in that case, I might avoid it, the outline of it altogether. Because that's going to be something you have to explain to the viewer. They're not going to get what that is. The rest of the stuff that's in here. Now, that chair will come out straight away. You got some other stuff going on over there. It looks like there's some pattern along the wall, right? The wall changes here, staggered. So there isn't a real lot of contrast that sort of, that tells me that space really fades back, but that'll be a challenge. We have I don't remember if you sent me. Show me again, Skylar, what you did with this.
This is mine. This is Greta's.
Oh, Greta's, I'm sorry.
Oh, that's so perfect.
Yeah, so you used up all the ink around here where I think all this wants to be white.
Yeah,
right?
I understand that now.
Okay.
Thank you, yeah.
Okay. Let me see what else I got here. Well, I do want to spend, I do want to do at least one lesson. I want to talk a little bit about the color and material. So I want to show you an example, and one of the things that I did. So you can find something could be anything. I'm going to prop this up a little bit. And I would start with the colored pencils. So the material studies and the ones that I've done include before even working with marker, I'm just going to take a pencil and then sort of mark out an area that you want to work in. Sometimes it's good to do this with tape. I'm using a high heavy quality paper.
Sandra,
Yeah.
could you take Greta off Spotlight?
Oh, yeah, sure. So you can see my thing now, right? So basically, to get an idea, when you're working with color, you're looking at something you want to replicate. You don't have to make a carbon copy of this. To understand what I might do with this, the first thing you try to do is just find colors that look like it. It's pretty simple, right? If you don't have a set of 72 when you have 24 or 48, you know, that's fine. So you're looking at this thing. And we want to understand something about it, and you want to work from light to dark. Right? The materials is one of my bow ties. That's a material too, right? We'll set that aside for now. But if I'm looking at this, I basically want to look at colors that appear to occur here. May not be, you may not use all of them. If at some point you want black as well, save that for last. And then start with the lightest thing you see. You're gonna work in layers. This is why I like tape, because I get lazy and I make my drawing smaller. Oh, this is not showing up at all. That's dreadful. What's going on there? That is so strange. I was getting dreadful veiling reflection from the light. You're not trying to make a copy of what's there. We're just looking to reproduce some of the color thing about pencil is that if you get too heavy, it gets saturated right away. And then if finally you decide that you want some black in there, work with it last. Right? If I were working with that, if it's a pattern, if it's a material, there's going to be some. I think I did this once before with watercolor. We don't have that luxury, but I'm going to look at. try to replicate the colors that I see here. And the reason I like working with pencil at first is that you don't get saturated right away. You don't end up using a lot. I had to turn off my lights, so now I can't see much. There's yellow in there. Some kind of red and orange. It doesn't have to be, we're not trying to create a copy. Right, we've got some yellow. I hear it. There we go, violating my own rules. Work from light to dark if you can. Right, with a little bit of effort and just selecting something of what you see. Maybe try out the color before you use it, you know, see how it compares. You don't have to work on white paper. These are some of the other wood looking drawings You can take a battery. Everybody recognizes that, right? I made a note some time ago, layering technique, wood textures, use Prismacolor. The nice thing about working with colored paper is it allows you to use white. So if I decided that, you know, I might want a more interesting way of exploring that, I might start with blue. I'm not being terribly careful about this right now, but it isn't the idea. The idea is that if there's something about a material or colors, a feeling that you want to get across, you're free to improvise on that. I see a little bit, I see some white in here. And you may find something like that. Okay, big deal. It isn't exactly what I see over there, but you know, I see thin blue lines against yellow, right? These don't have to take a real long time. It's a way of getting an idea of a material that you like. You're going to be working from images, right? If I were, let me share. Do you see Skylar's couch? I guess I can't share that and do this at the same time. Oh, I can. All right, let me see. I don't know how to do this.
We can see both.
You can see both. Okay. That's good, because I can't see anything because I turned out my lights, but I can see what's on the screen. So these are just pencil. I'm just saying work with pencil because pencils are forgiving. If you want to get a sense of how to work with markers, I usually don't introduce these at the same time, but if I were working with markers, before I tried to do that, if I pin this, does the other thing go away? No, you can see both. I might first do a couple of sketch studies with a color that I think works. Going to find another green. That might be the same. And then look at the grays that apply to this. I have to make this larger. Okay. So if that's a green that I want to try, then I want to take that's a 50% gray, cool gray. Right? Plus CG50. That's what I did with these. When you're using marker, you don't want to run out of marker. You don't want to colorize something out of control. You want to work small. You want to understand how that color additively works with gray. That's a 30, I think. Then you think about, okay, try to do breathtaking, fast drawing of this couch. You guys went out of your way to find a difficult couch. Okay, so if I think that's base color. And that what well may be more ink than I wanted to use there. But because I identified it here, where I see the 50, is where I start to apply it. Where I see a 70 or a 90. What do I mean by that? I'm gonna have to go to some neutral. That's a 70. That's gonna be pretty intense. There's some creases. $50. No, that one's out of ink. That's a 70. The Prisma 7, it's a little less severe. And where you see the white, let me share that image again. Where you see some white highlighting. You can apply that with the pencil. Any place that's exposed there. That I'm not being terribly careful with this now. Doesn't just have to be white. You can use other complementary colors that you find, that you see in the environment that you want to go with it. So there may be greens that are in the background, or in some other places in there, and you can apply that. If you like where that's, if you like the sort of thing, if you want to explore how that's going, draw some simple shapes, right? Use a different color as a base. the gray. Then the white on top of that. I'm being deliberately, I'm not going to say sloppy with it, but loose. And the idea is that you can improvise. If you like another color and you think that is an accent that you wish to add, you can do that as well. Right? It's all drawn from things you like. I don't like to drag these lessons out because this is technique. You can be as careful and as long-winded as you want with this, or as brief and loose with it as possible. But the idea is that the inspiration comes from materials or things that you like. You like the way this looks, or you like the way that looks, or you like the way the copper on the battery looks. And then you find the parts of it, the pieces that it's made of. And you make some kind of composition, some kind of study. The simplest are these boxes, right? I showed you guys that before. Okay. So this afternoon, I'm going to let you guys try this out, but what we're going to look at is materials with pencil. Study. White or colored paper. I find gray works best, but it could be tan. Marker, color, gray combinations.
Sandra, is there any way that you could outline my photo so I can work on it between classes?
Did you send it to me?
Yes, I did. I sent it again in another email.
Okay, let me see. Yes. What I will do is I'll print it out and draw on it, and I'll email it back to you, okay?
Okay, thank you so much.
Sound good? Okay, I'll see you guys this afternoon. Write me with questions. This stuff is really easy. I want you to be confident that you can work with it. You see if I can do this in 10 minutes, 5 or 10 minutes, think of what you could do if you applied yourself for a half hour or an hour to a drawing like that. All right? Okay, take care.